Hello and welcome back to the podcast. My name is Megan Morensky and I'm going to kickstart the new year off with something a little bit different. I want to first off apologise for the lack of podcast episodes. I had a couple of personal changes going on in my life, starting a new job that came out of the blue, and so I had to take a bit of time to accumulate to that new demands. It was a total blessing in disguise, and I am in a position that is exactly what I want. I'm in a brand new gym. It's a personal trainer's dream. So anyone living in Hickory, North Carolina, I am now the director of fitness at Catawba Country Club. So if you're in the area, come drop by, say hi. If you're looking for personal training, please reach out. I'm in a very good spot right now, kickstarting the new year with a ton of new clients, which I'm really excited to get started with, and it's going to be a great year. So while I was taking that time away from the podcast, I did a lot of reflecting, a lot of thinking of what I want to bring into 2026 as a coach, but also what I've learned from my first year as an online fitness coach and also in-person personal trainer. So I'm trying to veer away from the typical, this is how you lose 30 pounds in 30 days sort of thing that does get a ton of notice. I want to approach this with way more realistic applications and realistic expectations that you listening can apply to your own journey. So this first episode, it's not really anything to do specifically with fitness or training or nutrition. It's something a lot deeper. And it's something that I've learned throughout the years, especially when I was playing golf and also as I was transitioning to a different career, that really, really helped me. And if I knew this at the time, I wish I would have applied it more. But also I'm grateful I went through the challenges I did because it gave me a good outlook on life. Don't get me wrong, I've just turned 27, so I've got a lot of life experience left in me. But I do feel that my own journey has really shaped into the way that I view my goals, my success, what I want out of my life, my career, out of my clients, just to help me continue growing. So hopefully you learn something from this and you can take this into your 2026. So too often or not, we often view our success with our results. So if we try at something and we fail, we view that entire experience as a failure, or it was worthless, or we're not good enough. This can often be from, like I said, results. That can be from a placing. So if you finish badly in a competition, we can compare ourselves to others. Well, I put all this work in, but so did this person and they achieved that, whether that's a grade or a ranking of some sort. And too much emphasis is placed on the results. And what I've learned, and this is very applicable to golf, but you can also apply it to pretty much everything else, is that you're on your own journey. It's something that I've emphasized to my clients, and I still emphasize to it. It's their own journey. It's you against you. It's something I tell myself all the time. Like I said, I'm currently in prep for my first ever bodybuilding show, which looks like it's going to be in 2027 now. But I'm already drilling into my brain that no matter what happens when I step up on that stage, no matter what I place, this is me against me. I'm bringing my best self to stage, regardless of who else is competing, regardless of, even if I come dead last. It's me versus me. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what happens when I step up on that stage, or what happens when you play in that golf event, or what happens when you sit that test and you didn't get the grade you hoped for. It's all part of the process. One of my favourite quotes, and this is actually from my college golf coach, is that you have to stay in the moment and focus on the process. And that's what it's about. That's where all the learning takes place. It's not when you step up on stage. It's all the workouts, all the early to bed, the early rises, all the protein you're eating, the tracking, the hydration, all that stuff. That's what is part of it. That's the process. That's what's going to get you the results. But at the end of the day, it's also what you put in before you step on that stage that really, really matters. That's where true growth is. That's where true learning is. And you can apply this to any aspect in your life. It's all about the process. The results, it is what it is. And that's a hard thing. It's a hard pill for people to swallow. Because, again, at the end of the day, the trophy's nice. The first place is nice. The check is nice. The grade is nice. But to get that, you have to stay in the moment and focus on the process. You have to focus on that. And hurdles are going to come. We're going to talk about challenges in a couple of minutes. But it's always staying in that moment and just aiming to get better and better each day. Even if that's just a little bit. That's 1% better every day or 1% that week. Okay, a great example is we're just coming out of the holiday season and I'm in a deep deficit right now. Christmas was, a couple of weeks ago, so leading up to that, lots of Christmas parties. Then it was also my birthday and then also New Year, plus starting a new job. Did I just throw in the towel and be like, okay, well, December's a write-off. I'll just kind of like maintain or, even just stop tracking and screw this for a month and I'll get back to it January. No. Before I even went into it, I was like, right, I do feel stressed. I know I've got a big life change coming up. I'm going to try my best to just get my workouts in. I was also in Scotland for a couple of weeks. So my whole routine for December was pretty much out of whack. And I would say I look at what I've done and I'm like, yeah, I did succeed. It was hard. It was stressful. No way was it perfect. But I succeeded. I learned a lot. I managed to lose weight. I managed to enjoy time with my family and my friends. I managed to celebrate Christmas without going totally wild. I started a new job. I got new clients. I am also going through a couple of personal changes on top of that. So that's success. Could it have been better? Absolutely. Could it have been worse? Absolutely. But I'm going to learn from it and grow from it and continue. So it's all about the process, and that's what forms us, not the outcome. Okay? And we can, you could look like really deep into this and be like, okay, from that process, what really did you learn? It was like, well, I look at that and I'm like, I'm way more resilient than what I thought. I can handle pressure from others way better than what I thought. Could I be critical? Absolutely. Yes, I drank way too much whiskey. I indulged a little bit too much in higher carb stuff and I should have got some more carbs from healthy sources. I could have got more steps in. I could have also recorded a couple of episodes for my podcast before the whole job thing. But I did what I could. Was it perfect? No. Could I have done better? Absolutely. But I'm going to learn from it and continue growing. Being able to navigate challenges is one of the most difficult things to do. But it's also one of the biggest movers in our journey, whatever that journey is, whatever that success looks like. Life happens. There's so many unexpected things that come our way. But what we do when it hits hard is what truly matters. It's what shapes us. It's what defines us, just to a certain extent. But the point I'm getting at is being able to navigate your challenges, view things from an outside perspective, see the bigger picture, even when life gets really hard, is where true growth lies, okay? And we always just strive to do the best we can. Like I said, it may not be perfect, but just do the best you can. We review from it, you learn, you adapt, and you grow. That's where growth comes from, and that's where success comes from. And like I said, I'm not here to define success because that is different for every single person and that it changes all the time. But what I've learned is success is a lot deeper than what I expected. And again, I'm going to talk about that in a couple of minutes. But going back to challenges, being able to navigate it and take it for what it is, take it at face value and not getting too swayed from what really matters. Okay, we want to almost kind of stay on that narrow road and just keep plodding along, one foot in front of the other. Even if it takes us a couple of months to just take one step. That's what matters. It's way better than taking one step in 1 month than taking 3 steps backwards in a week. Okay, which can happen, and that may happen sometimes. But take it at face value, take it for what it is, and keep plodding along. When it comes to challenges, one thing I like to remind myself is that it's all temporary. And actually, so is success, so is happiness. Everything's so temporary, and it always passes. Kind of like clouds in the sky. It's always kind of flowing, always kind of getting blown some direction. Sometimes the clouds hang over us for longer than what we want, but take it for what it is. But remind yourself that hardship is very temporary. Challenge is always temporary, but so is joy. So when joy comes around, when happiness comes around, appreciate it, sit in it, enjoy it. That's actually one of my goals this year, is to still work on being more present. I often find that the kind of worldly expectations and demands can get the better of me, and I lose sight of what's right in front of me. And so I'm trying my best to just be more present, enjoy the things that are right in front of me, and that can be simple things. Like I said, it's very easy to just get caught up in life, and before you know it, it passes, and you're like, I didn't really appreciate that. Another great example is like I said, I started my new job the start of December. I love the lead up to Christmas, the Christmas songs, the advent calendars, the parties. And I just totally kind of missed out on that. And I said to my husband, like a couple of days before Christmas, I'm like, Christmas is in like 2 days. And I've totally just missed out on the entire lead up to it because I've been so focused on my new job, understandably so. But I could have taken a bit more time to just enjoy those little things that I typically enjoy. So that's one of my goals this year, is to keep working on being more present. It's something I've been working on for years. It's not something that comes naturally to me. I'm very much someone that lives in the future, always looking at the next step. But if you keep doing that, you're going to miss the moments of joy. And you're always going to be chasing that next thing. If you've ever read the book, The Gap and the Gain, this is exactly what it talks about. Living in the present, living in the gain, not the gap. So it's a good book. I definitely recommend it if you've never read it before. It's got some really good perspectives. But reminding yourself that temporary hardship is exactly what it is. It's temporary. So live more in the moment, be present, and just enjoy what's right in front of you. So what would you say is the deeper driver or result of success? Because there's always something deeper. Going back to my first ever episode, I talked about finding your why. Okay. But what is the real definition of your success? I've just touched base on this, that I personally focus way too much on worldly success. Or I often find myself like, that's how I define my success. Your social status, financial gains, maybe it's a promotion at work. Maybe it's what you cook for your husband. It could be something in the gym, your personal best in the gym, or maybe even the scale weight. You define yourself by that scale weight. But there's a much deeper reason, and that's our purpose. But I know that's going to sound like, what the heck, I thought this was a fitness channel and now she's talking about her purpose. But hear me out. Being able to fulfill your purpose is something that I'm still, navigating, but I'm getting there. And it's so different than what I thought. So when I first became a trainer, my thought was, right, I'm walking away from golf. What do I enjoy to do more than anything else if I'm not golfing? And I like to work out. And what I did in my free time is a lot of what I do was self-taught. I would research, I would watch YouTube videos, I would read studies, I would ask people or my trainer my questions about, muscle growth and protein and nutrition, all that good stuff. And I was like, maybe I'll just be a personal trainer because I know how to work out. I enjoy it. I think I could work in a gym. And I kind of started from there. But how I view my profession now is so different from 18 months ago. It's not just, I'm a trainer because I like the gym. It's a lot deeper than that, which I can dive into later if anyone's interested. But I feel a great sense of purpose in what I do, in helping others. And I believe that I was meant to be in this position to help others live a healthier lifestyle so they can fulfill their purpose. If you don't have your health, you've got nothing. I know that sounds pretty harsh, but it's true. Okay, if you're in a hospital bed somewhere, if you can't walk, or if you're too unhealthy to go and do your job or do your purpose, it's just not going to matter. Okay, so health is always priority. People forget that. But finding your deeper reason and what truly gives us meaning is way more prevalent than what people think when it comes to their fitness journey. Another kind of side note off that and side note off my journey is being able to help others. For those of you that play golf, especially those of you that play competitive golf, it's a very isolating sport. You're practicing on your own. Typically you're traveling on your own if you're playing professionally. You do have typically somewhat of a support system, whether it's through sponsorship or family. But at the end of the day, you're on the golf course. It's you, it's between your ears, and it can be a very, very isolating sport. And it's always to do with you. That's one thing I kind of got tired of, is I'm always thinking about myself, my own game, my own performance. Even those around me, it was always asking me questions about, my tournaments or how they can help me, and you should do this, you should do that. And it's always focused around me. I know that sounds really ungrateful, but they were coming from a loving place, of course. However, it was always to do with me. And it was almost like, even if I asked them like how their lives were going, for some reason it would always come back to my golf. And it just got kind of tiring. And I got I didn't realize that the whole kind of inside me was I was not helping others. And no matter what your purpose is, everyone's got that desire to help others. If you've never helped anyone in your life, whether that's just being kind to someone, giving them a smile, it doesn't have to be this grand gesture or this kind of grand donation, but there's no reward like it. Try it. Go smile at the next person you see and see how it makes you feel. But helping others, just no reward like it. And that's part of the reason that I'm in this job. I love what I do. I believe I'm pretty good at it. I've got the knowledge and behind it, the discipline behind it does come relatively somewhat easy to me. I enjoy it, which is a big part, but the biggest thing is I can help others in the process. And that's my deeper reason of what success looks like for me, or some part of it in my professional setting. Some of you may be familiar with the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. And if you've not read it, it's really good, or even just type it into Google and it'll come up with a definition. But what it initially is 80% of what you gain, whether that's in, say if it's in business, 80% of your profit comes from 20% of what you do. Even though you might spend 80% of your time on something else that only reaps in 20% of your profit. And it's the same in our personal lives. Okay, so 80% of your happiness comes from 20% of what we do, give or take. But we often seek happiness from doing something that will only give us a small amount of joy in return. And again, this is absolutely something I have fallen into. Or I'm better at now, but it's still something I'm working on. And what I found when I really sat down, I'm like, okay, what like genuinely makes me happy? And it wasn't like, looking at my bank account or seeing how much money I've gained or how many new clients I'm going to be signing up or, I don't know, this grand holiday. No, it actually comes from the simple things in life. I get a lot of joy from drinking coffee in the morning and reading my book. That is one of my favourite things to do. I love being around good people I can learn from, people that I can teach, and also just my ability to move. Like, I love working out, and if that was taken away from me, like, that would be pretty difficult. But it's the simple things in life that we take for granted. So expressing more gratitude, that is a really big way to really experience joy and happiness. It's not going to be in these big, grand things. It's way more simple than that. And if you actually sit down and think about when you experience true joy, you will find it will be in the most simple of things. That family dinner. It's always funny, like, when I go back to Scotland, it's all the little things that I miss, like the tap water there, or my mum's like home cooked salmon, or even like the potatoes, it's little things like that. It's not necessarily the bigger picture things. It's really, really simple little things that bring me true joy, and I appreciate them for what they are. I'm always trying my best to express gratitude whenever I can. The longer we go without expressing gratitude, the more of a hole we kind of fall into. And that's where you'll kind of fall into that gap. You want to live in the gain the entire time. And to live in the gain, you've got to express gratitude. And you can think this, you can write it down, you can talk to someone, but you'll find it amazing how many little things in your life bring you true joy, yet we always chase the bigger things. What do you do if you're not sure where to go or what to do or what success even looks like? What if you've listened to this and you have no idea what true success? You keep coming back to, well, it's, what I get paid or the promotion that's coming up. And this happens to us all. I still have my moments like this of, what really do I want to do this year? This year was so different than previous years. Usually when I enter a new year, I had all these like kind of physical goals and, maybe some financial goals, but it was all kind of just irrelevant, to be honest. But so what happens if you're at a point right now when you're listening to this and you've got no idea what your goals are going to be? Seek guidance. Ask for help. That's one of the best things you can do. Seek guidance in the ones you trust. There's going to be that one person or two people in your life that you really look up to, that you aspire to be, or you just think, wow, like they really know what they're talking about. They have the same values as you. Just ask for help. There's no there's no embarrassment or shame in asking for help. It's something that is part of our purpose. it goes back to that helping others. Okay, and if you help someone helps you. That's how this whole life thing should be done. It's about helping others, and we should all be encouraging each other. So ask for help, seek guidance from someone you trust. If you're struggling to think of someone, or you don't have someone in your life that you want to go to, then seek guidance from above. Whoever you believe in, whatever you think is upstairs, seek guidance. Seek guidance through prayer. Ask him for his help. Above all, that's exactly what matters. If you want to find your purpose, you need to ask him for what it is. And again, that is something that has really changed my life. I'm very fortunate to have a few people in my life where I can seek guidance from, but at the end of the day, it's what matters is what he wants. And if you're unsure of what that looks like, ask him through prayer, and he will answer. There's always a reason for everything, and even when the times of struggle, there's a reason behind that. Typically that's when most of our growth happens, and blessings are always just around the corner, and oftentimes we have to kind of go through the struggle to see the view from above. And this can be hard to accept sometimes, hard to go through sometimes, but everyone's got the strength to do it. You just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and the view from the top is pretty cool. And maybe if you do feel lost right now, maybe you're meant to feel lost right now, so you can be found. The biggest thing is you just got to keep on seeking. Stay hungry, and don't let your own chimp inside your brain stop you from finding your true potential. Most of what we do is going to involve hardship, but it's what we do through that hardship. If you keep plugging along, that's what will get you your results. That's what's going to get you your success. And hopefully by the end of this, if you've made it this far, your success is going to be a little bit different than what you thought. And that's a good thing. And I don't want to discount, goals that we have. Absolutely, I've got goals myself. I've got personal goals myself, but there's deeper reasons for everything. There's a deeper why. And seeing that bigger picture of what exactly that is hard. It's a journey. It's always changing. But just keep seeking and keep fighting, and just stay hungry. That's all I have for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, I would like to apologise that it's been a bit of a break. But please share, subscribe, like, and keep bringing people into the circle. It's amazing when people came into the circle in 2025, and 2026 is just going to be better than last year. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Have a great day. I will see you next week.